with some friends, and I was left alone
That was
with
in New
Lee
York in 19...
in St. Louis.
Oh,
No, the World's Fair was in Chicago.
which year was this?
Well, I guess it was about 32, 33.
Yeah.
And I was left with Lee, and Lee was about 7, 8 years old or so. And I think we told you about the episode where they had at that time they had the sleeping sickness going around. Did I tell you about that?
I don't remember.
I thought maybe it was in the movie that Melvin made, the video that Melvin made.
I don't remember, maybe.
And I think Lee had a fever or something, and we had train tickets to go to Detroit. From St. Louis to Detroit, yeah. And
so this is just when you were planning on moving, or this was...
No, Mother and Father were already in Detroit with the grocery store. And Elma went to the World's Fair with her friends, and I was coming to Detroit with Lee.
So they moved ahead of you, and just left you there with Lee. That's it.
Yeah.
How come
we were teenagers.
Yeah.
We were grown up.
Yeah. So
well, they wanted to get an apartment. They got a nice apartment when we moved here.
Yeah. So you just stayed in the old apartment in St. Louis until they got set up.
Yeah,
so that was
I don't know where I stayed really, because after we left, I don't know what happened with the place where I was staying or anything like that. Isn't that funny? And Lee wasn't feeling good. I think she had a fever, and I wanted to take her to the doctor to be sure she was okay to travel. Did I ever tell you about that?
I don't remember.
It's funny now, but I was so upset
You're
then.
scared for her.
So she didn't want to go to the doctor. Somehow I dragged her to the door of the doctor, and the doctor was upstairs. It must have been Dr. Press. She wouldn't go upstairs, and so the doctor said, if she's that strong that you can't take her upstairs, she's not too sick to travel on the train. And so I took her on the train. And Lee said, we were discussing that recently. I don't know, one time Lee and I were just having fits laughing about it. She says, I felt so sorry for you, but I didn't want to go to that doctor. She was more scared of the doctor than she was of me.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll never forget that episode.
Yeah. So why at this same point, Alma was just visiting the World's Fair? Is that?
Yeah, with her friends, and from the World's Fair she went to Detroit from St. Louis. I can't remember for the life of me. It never occurred to me what happened to the house we were living in.
In St. Louis?
In St. Louis, yeah, because Lee and I were the last ones to come.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, then you moved to this 12th and Euclid.
Yeah. Well, it was on Euclid near 12th Street.
And you were 15, 17?
No, I was 16, and I had my 17th birthday there. And that was about 34, 35.
And you had sort of gone to a business school?
Oh yeah, I went to the Hadley Vocational School. I guess it was something like the Commerce High. They don't have Commerce High anymore in Detroit.
I don't know.
It was near Cass Tech.
Yeah.
Maybe they incorporated it with Cass Tech.
The two were incorporated while I was there, I think.
Oh?
Yeah, they were incorporated. While I was at Cass Tech, they were incorporated. I remember this. Because when I first got there, the two schools were there, and they were connected by a bridge. And then they incorporated all the business curriculums into Cass Tech and ripped down Commerce and built the freeway. So that all happened in the mid-'60s when I was there. Yeah.
Well, this Hadley Vocational School was just opened at the time I went. You know, I graduated 8th grade, and they didn't want me to go to high school. They wanted me to get a business education. Aunt Thielma went to high school and graduated high school. But me, I went to this school, and every time I finished a subject, I got a certificate. I never got any high school degree or anything. And so I learned shorthand and bookkeeping and business arithmetic and how to create a business ladder. And oh yeah, my father was in business with a poultry and egg. He had a poultry and egg business right on the river, where all the farmers. There was rows of these businesses
This is in St. Louis?
in St. Louis, yeah, on the river, and the farmers would come in and sell their eggs and their poultry to these different businesses. And Dad went into business with two brothers. They were, what's the name of that guy that was a big shot at Chrysler? He was the second to
Iacocca?
Iacocca. Not Iacocca. He was below Iacocca.
I don't know.
The Greenwald. Oh yeah. Their name was Greenwald. One brother was Frank and the other was Sam. And it happens that Frank is the father of this Greenwald that was second in command to Iacocca. In fact, he left recently, Greenwald did, and he went, I think he went with American Airlines or something. And if I would be a letter writer, I would have written him a letter and told him that my dad was in business with his father. Because I would sort of watch Greenwald. If he was in the news, he was in the news with social things like that. They had, and one time it wrote that, I can't think of Greenwald's first name, Jerry, I think. His father and mother, Frank and Bertha, came in from Israel. They lived in Israel to visit him. I should have made a phone call or something. I never did.
You can still do it.
Well, yeah, I don't think he lives here anymore. I think he lives in Texas or something.
So a letter to Chrysler Corporation or a letter to Texas, it's still 29 cents.
Yeah, but I don't like to write letters. Anyway, and the name of the business was Schaefer Produce Company, and it was on 711 3rd, I think, something like that. First Street was right on the river.
And this was
Third.
Grandpa and Greenwald and somebody else.
No, just Grandpa and Sam and Frank Greenwald. The three of them were in business, but they never got along because I think it was Dad's money that opened it up, and then he was with Frank and Sam because I guess they were pretty experienced. Somehow they talked him into going to business with him. That didn't last too long, but how old was I? I was about 15 then, and they decided that I knew my bookkeeping.
So you kept the books for this business?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you worked with them.
As I said, these places were stinky.
Yeah.
They're so stinky, with the chickens coming in all the time, and the live chickens from the farm.
I know.
Yeah.
With chickens.
And I just hated it there. So that was my first job.
Yeah. And that was working for your dad and his company.
Yeah, as a bookkeeper.
Yeah. Did you ever? So you do this Greenwalds. Did you know this? Did you ever meet the Greenwald son that became?
Well, I don't know if he even. I think he had just gotten married, Frank. He was a young man. He had just gotten married shortly after they went to business together.
So young Greenwald was.
I think his wife might have been pregnant or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just an interesting thing.
Yeah. So what happened after you moved to Detroit then? Did you get a job or?
Yeah, I got a job as a cashier in a theater because Aunt Sarah knew these people that owned these theaters. Their name was London. And
what theater was it?
there was a movie house on Grand Boulevard and Woodward. And on one side was the Regent. Do you remember where the Regent is? It was on Woodward.
But the hotel?
No. This was on Woodward, and
It was on Woodward and Grand Boulevard.
yeah, but it was south of Grand Boulevard. The Regent was north. It was just a small little movie house. I don't think it's there now.
Yeah.
And so.
I have a vague memory of it. I think it might have been there when I was little.
So
that's the theater you worked in?
yeah.
And you sold tickets and
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just open in the evening around 7 to 9.
Yeah.
At that time, uh, we had this group of friends. It was a depression,
Mhm.
and I just worked from 7 to 9 or 7 to 10 as a cashier.
Mhm. And this is you were 17.
I was 17, 18
Mhm.
years old.
And you were living home with your
Yeah, I was
mom and
living
dad.
home, yeah.
By that time, your parents were divorced.
I
No.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But with the circle of friends we had were some nice boys and girls, and they were going to college. In fact, you met Leonard Radner.
Yeah.
He was one of the
He was one of this
men,
gang.
yeah. And
This
so
is the one that was Gilda Radner's what?
cousin,
Or
yeah, cousin.
yeah.
And
How did that relation work? He was.
we were a group of boys and girls.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think of the Gilda Radner connection.
He
He
was a cousin.
was.
He was,
Maybe his. Yeah, except Gilda Radner's a different generation, so but maybe his first cousin was the parent to Gilda, is that it? Or something like
I
that?
don't know.
Anyway,
We
so.
talked about Gilda when you were sitting and we met him in the restaurant, remember?
Yeah, I remember meeting him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the that was that before Gilda died or after?
No, it was before she died.
Yeah, yeah.
He said she was kind of a kook.
Mhm.
Well, she probably was.
Well, sure. She used
Oh,
it to
it's
her
already
advantage.
5:30.
Yeah.
Linda, are you getting hungry?
No, I thought you were still taking.
We can take all night. This is a long history. It's 75 years old.
Yeah. We can take a break if you want.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that I'm hungry, but the baby's up and she didn't feed too long, so I know she's gonna be fussing. So
Oh.
Okay. Well, we can do dinner and
can you take care of the baby for a while, Aaron?
yeah. Okay.
She's okay now, but I just know it won't be too long. And she'll have to have a bottle this time.
Okay. I'm gonna put here that we were. Let's see. We were 17 in Detroit, and
I'm afraid we won't finish this today.
yes, we will. We're gonna do this
Oh.
all night long. I'm enjoying this. Okay.
Can we play it back? I want to see.
Sure.
Where's Kremenchuk?
All right.
Here's
Here's
Kiev.
here's Odessa. Here's Dnieper. Here, what?
It's a Dnieper.
Dnieper. And who lived in Odessa now?
Well, I guess it was around these area that Grandma lived.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she lived near Kiev. I don't know. But she
What's
was,
the other one
she
you
was-
said? Kremenchuk?
Kremenchuk, yeah. Oh, here it is. On the Dnieper
Kremenchuk.
River, that's where she was born.
That's where Grandma was born.
Mhm. Here's Kiev.
Yeah.
So it's all in the neighborhood there. Let's see. Can't think of the name of Daddy's. I have it written down. Yeah, here. This is the, what is this called? They only allow Jews in certain areas. This is the area they allowed them, I guess.
You mean this sector of the country, or?
Yeah. Here, here's Minsk.
Yeah.
That's a lot of, here's Vilnius. That was a place where the Jewish culture was great there.
Yeah. But do we have relatives there that you know?
Yeah. I met a lady in La Mesa, not La Mesa, but
So Grandma was born in Kremenchuk, Kremencug.
yeah, I'm sure.
And Grandpa, where was he born?
I can't think of the name, but it's not on the map anyway. And Daddy was in near Rubla. That's someplace around here too. I don't know if it's still. Just wasting time.
Okay. Let's see. Here. Let's see if I can get it out of the camera. Hold it up for. Okay. Let's see. See how close I can get. Point to where. Let's see. Right. It was right around here.
Here.
Okay.
I can read upside down. This is where my mother was born, Kremenchuk.
Okay. Can you hold it up a little more? All right.
No, I lost it. I think this is it over here, yeah.
Yeah. Let me start this going. Let me see if I can fix the focus now. Oops. Okay. Near check.
Kiev,
Yeah, I got it right in the center of the screen.
on the Dnieper River.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right on the, not far from the Black Sea. Is it the
well,
Black Sea?
north of the Black Sea.
North of the Black Sea.
The Black Sea is over here, and this is Odessa. I think she was in Odessa too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me get focus back on you now. Put the book down.
Put the book down.
Okay. Okay. Now, when last we spoke, you were telling me about when you were a ticket girl at the Regency?
Cashier.
Like
No.
cashier? The
No.
What was the name of the theater?
I can't think of the name of the theater. It was across the street from the Regent.
Yeah.
It was on the other side of Grand Boulevard.
Yeah.
I think that's the first job I got when I came to Detroit. And
you were telling me about this group of friends.
oh yeah.
Where did you meet them?
Well, some of them were from that. No, they weren't from the. Were they from the original party that for my 17th birthday party? But somehow we got together with this group.
How did you meet all these people for your 17th birthday? This is just right after you moved to Detroit.
Yeah. Well, Aunt Sarah knew some young people, and she told them to come to a party, so they came,
Yeah.
and we met some of them. And
How did she know them? Do you know?
well, she had been living there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. One was a grocery boy that she knew. And maybe she knew some other young people and got a party.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we met these people
Were
there.
Grandma and Grandpa still together? Or,
Oh yeah. Sure they. And
Keep talking.
anyway, this group of young men. There was Abe Davis. In fact, Abe Davis is a cousin of Linda's, distant cousin.
Yeah.
And he was studying law, and Leonard Radner was studying law, and there was a High Wakestein. He was kind of a sickly young man because he had some kind of I don't know whether it was emphysema or some type of a lung disease. He was a real nice fellow. He and Elma sort of hit it off nicely. And anyway, we would go together in groups, and then there was, I had two sisters, Virginia and Dorothy, and we all went places as a group. Nobody had any money.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dad knew the Wakesteins, and so he was along in this group.
He was part of this group from the very start? Yeah.
I don't know whether from the start or he joined it. He knew some of them somehow. And when I got this job as a cashier at this theater, from 7 to 10 or something like that, the boys didn't want to see me go home alone. I'd have to go on a streetcar.
Mm-hmm.
So they would take turns picking me up and taking me home, which was real nice. I don't know whether Dad was in this, one of the guys that picked me up. Anyway, he was usually paired with Dorothy Wakestein. Dorothy liked him, but he wasn't crazy about her.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, as time went by, Dad's family went to Palestine. It was Palestine there. His father and mother were idealistic, and they wanted to go there. And he went with them. First, his father went. And he bought an orange. His father bought an orange grove. I imagine Dad talked about that in his story. I don't know whether he did or not.
Mm-hmm.
And he would write to the boys and say, "How are the Shacknefitz girls?" And finally he came back, but I didn't see him. And then one day, one of my friends, at that time, I was working as a bookkeeper for Dr. Dick's Dentists.
Mm-hmm.
They were these advertising dentists. They had offices, and a lot of young dentists were there. And the dentists didn't give their names to the patients. They just had key names because they didn't want it known that they were with advertising dentists. When they would go out on their own, they didn't want that to know. The people, I was a bookkeeper there, and there was a...
For Dr. Dick's Dentists?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And there was a dental technician there. Her name was Lee. And she was going out with Al Pearl. I showed you the picture of Al Pearl. That was his first... They finally got married.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee and I became friendly with her at the office. Lee said, "I want you to meet a nice young man that just traveled all around the world." So I came to her house that day, and there was Daddy, and we knew each other from the group, and we started double dating then.
And how old were you then when you re-met Daddy?
Well, God, I don't remember. I was about 25 when I got married, and we were going out for 3 years.
Yeah.
His daddy didn't have any money.
So then
Must have been about 23.
Yeah. So then you
We started going
dated for a couple of years in this group, and then
Yeah, but we
then
weren't.
he went away and came back.
We started double dating.
Mm-hmm. You were like old friends.
Oh, Lee was already married to her husband. But
Al Pearl.
To Al Pearl, yeah.
And Al Pearl's was he a pharmacist?
No, he was a school teacher and had something to do with engineering.
He was an old friend of Dad's.
Yeah, they went to Hebrew school together.
Mm-hmm.
And when the war started, Al Pearl didn't want to be drafted, so he got a job in some type of a job that had to do with engineering or something that was considered important for him to stay. So that's how he stayed. And but that was before. Anyway, that was after we were all married.
Yeah.
But what else?
So you re-met Daddy at this
At the
party.
Pearl's house.
Yeah.
It wasn't a party. It was just a double date
Yeah.
there.
And then you started dating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how we started
And
dating.
then you became steady after steady boyfriend girlfriend.
Yeah. Anyway.
So how long? Let's see. So where was were you still living with?
I'm still
your
living
mom?
at home,
With
sure.
it, yeah. And when did Grandma and Grandpa separate?
They separated when we were living on Richton. That was when, and then Mother created this grocery store.
Yeah.
And she got her divorced eventually.
And how old were you?
How old was I? Guess I was in my 20s,
Yeah.
my early 20s.
And that's when you were working for the dentist?
I was working for Dr. Dick's Dentist then.
Yeah.
And where else did I work? I worked for a lot of places. All of a sudden, there's so many things to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get a blank.
when you,
Well, what Mother did was, after a while, we got tired of helping her, and we encouraged. I think she sold the store, and she got a job. She went from door to door selling something like Avon. It wasn't Avon; it was clothes, like stockings and stuff. And that was real hard. It was real hard work. And from there, she got a job in Broadway Market. Do they still have Broadway Market downtown? I think they do.
I don't know whether, I know there's a Broadway, I mean, the name is familiar, but I'm not sure, was that
It was
Broadway
on
Market?
Broadway. Well,
What was it?
it was a closed market, but it was, there were different concessions all
I
over.
know, yeah, I've been to it, I don't know if they still have it, but they,
And then from there, she got a job at Sam's Cut Rate, selling candy, and she had that job until she retired.
Broadway Market, yeah, they've got a lot of different little food outlets.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They had all kinds of things there,
yeah.
more than food. And then she kept that job until she retired.
Yeah.
And they had a union there, and the union, she had to pay dues, and also at the end of the time when she retired, she got about $5 pension. I mean, the whole $5 in one fell swoop. That's all the union did for her.
That's all she got.
Yeah, but
That was from Sam's, or that was,
Sam's Cut Rate.
yeah.
Yeah, she worked there for
That,
many
that was
years.
a big store downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember you taking me
It was
there
on
when I
Randolph.
was little.
Mm-hmm.
She sold candy at the store.
Yeah.
And that's something they've since ripped